Welcome back to week 4. So hopefully by now you've been doing your homework and you can test well, you can find an emotion that's trapped in your body, and you can bust a belief that isn't serving you by using the quadrant clear. You're now starting to get a few fundamentals together that are going to make you really flexible and really good at clearing some of the stuff that's in the way of you doing what you want to do. So we're going to take it up a notch and start teaching you how to clear the stuff that's going on between you and another person. This is what I call relationship clearing. Pretty simple, but really powerful way to improve your relationship with another person. This might be someone you're in an intimate relationship with, friendship, family for sure. This is really big for clearing up old family stuff and the dynamics amongst you and your family, and even workplace relations and relations to people you don't even know, like famous people or people who might represent something to you. So the relationship clear works on the understanding that there are energetic connections between us and other people. We're going to get into chakras in a different series, but just know that this relates to the chakra system. So if you're already familiar with that, this will be helpful. If you aren't, that's totally fine, and we'll teach you all about that in the advanced series, which is coming soon. So the way I think of it is that there are 7 lines running between me and another person. You can see there's one right down here at the base, at the survival level. There's one running on the social, emotional, creative, and sexual level. There's one running here on the personal power, the ego level. There's one running at the heart level, which really represents unconditional love. One on this throat level, which represents our communication. So if I haven't spoken to someone or something I don't want to tell them, we might see an emotion coming up there. This one is the third eye to third eye. So it's really about whether we think the same or whether there's stuff on the mental level between us and someone else. And then this top level, number 7, is really the spiritual connectedness. So whether we can see ourselves as being like another person or connected with them. It's really quite simple. I think of these as 7 phone lines between me and another person, and as soon as I feel some funny vibes between me and that person, I want to check in and see if those levels are okay. So if I check in with Dan, who's still behind the camera here, on level 1, 2, 3, 4, apparently on the heart level we're not cool. I don't love you anymore, Dan, and I'm going to check out what's going on there. So I'm going to feel into level 4, the heart level, and there's a fire, earth, metal, water, kidney, bladder, pissed off, paralyzed will, which tells me I'm not fully open to him on an unconditional love level. So I'm just going to clear that as per usual by holding the ESR points. Take a deep breath. And as I check into that, I can feel an expansiveness kicking in. Don't worry if you don't feel anything. I've found over time I've become more tuned to feeling the energy of emotion shifting, and we're going to keep going. On the throat level, we're clear. The third eye level, we're clear. And on the crown level, the spiritual level, we're also clear. So I want you to look at the diagram there between yourself and another person. You can think of anyone, and I recommend putting in people that you know there's likely to be some trigger. So your parents and your family, as much as you love them, there's often triggers between family members because that's just how it is. We have a lot of stuff around our family. If you have people in your life you know you're having a difficult time with a boss, or you've recently broken up with a partner, it's a really good place. And also your intimate partner in general, there's going to be stuff coming up. So don't worry, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the relationship with you and that person. In fact, people we love a lot or have a lot of charge around, typically there's going to be bits of stuff coming up all the time. So why do we want to clear up the relationship between ourselves and another person? Well, typically it means we're going to be able to communicate better. We're going to be able to stay open to that person. We're not going to react to them. We're not going to have our power threatened. We're going to be emotionally connected to them. Really, it means we're going to be able to connect and feel that person on all levels, but we're also not going to be triggered or shut down by that person. Sometimes we can react really weirdly to someone that we care about just because there's this bit of something in the air, that something's been triggered that hasn't been named or that we don't really understand. The quicker we clear it, the sooner we go back to love and gratitude for that person. In addition to clearing the 7 lines, I like to go through this basic formula. ABEWV, which stands for attitude, behaviors, energies, worldview, and values. So, if I'm clear with the person on 7 different levels, and then I start to clear, I'm okay with Dan's attitude, that's fine. I'm okay with Dan's behavior, that's fine. He's just sitting on a chair, there's no reason that wouldn't trigger me right now. I'm okay with Dan's energy, which is the way he feels to be around. Oftentimes energy is a big one. We might have someone who we're totally cool with, and then one day we feel weird around them. They're not doing anything weird, they haven't said anything weird, we just feel not as open to them as we usually do, typically that's going to turn up in the person's energies. So attitude, behavior, energies. I'm okay with Dan's worldview, which is about how he thinks about the world, and also Dan's values, which is what's important to him. So those are all clear. It's important to understand that this formula, attitude, behavior, energies, worldview, values, it's not really what that person is carrying, it's what we think they're carrying. So it's clearing the emotion around our perception of their attitude, our perception of their behavior, our feelings around their energies, our perception of their worldview, which we might not really know what he thinks about the world, and our perception of their values. So what we're really doing is clearing up inside of ourselves the way we perceive and feel about another person. Using this simple map, we can clear up our relationship to another person literally in seconds. So if there's something going on at the office and the boss has just pushed the buttons, you can quickly shift it before you have to go and deal with that person, and you can deal with them in a much more even-handed, confident, certain and loving way rather than acting all weird because that person has pushed one of your buttons. Likewise with your parents, your lover, your best friends. This relationship clear is really useful. I recommend using it all the time. So homework for this week is pretty predictable. What I want you to do is think of at least 5 people. The closer related to you they are, the better. So mum and dad are a definite. If you have a partner right now, that's a definite. Siblings, close friends. And I'll just go through and check every line between you and those guys from 1 to 7. And then go ahead and check dad's attitude, dad's behavior, dad's energy, dad's worldview, dad's values. Really interesting to take note of what comes up there. Keep track of the emotions. So as always, going through the 5-element emotions chart, finding the emotions that come up, clearing them, and then rechecking attitude, behavior, energy, worldview, values, levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then what I want you to do is notice what happens when you have an interaction with that person. It's particularly noticeable if there's some tension, maybe you've had a problem or an upset with someone, but even in the day-to-day of relating to other people, particularly when you clear levels like level 4, the heart, or you clear someone's energies or their values, you're going to notice big improvements of your ability to relate to and be present with that person. And they're going to notice it too. They're going to just think you've gotten more stable and you've become a nicer, more onto it person. You can either teach them what you're doing or you can keep it to yourself and just let everyone think you're becoming a Buddha. Okay, cool. So do your homework, at least 5 people, and I'll see you back next week.